So, like I said, I am Mark. This is Nothing in No Particular Order. This is a podcast. We talk about nothing and everything. Um, yeah, man, some stuff that's been on my mind that I don't know, through conversation with other people, I feel like it's kind of a common consensus. A lot of people are talking about relationships right now. A lot of people are just like talking about being single, um, and how like to properly enjoy that life, but also seeing what we see on media, and then for me, I have like a lot of different forms of relationships lived out in front of me. So it's like I have such a wide spectrum of examples to look at of relationships, and it's like, how do I move based off of that stuff? What's like the best way to, because I don't know, because a lot of times I see like a lot of negative in relationships, and it's like, damn, it makes me not want to get in one. It makes me feel like they're trash. But then also I see my parents, and my parents, they're probably like the pinnacle of relationships, because I've seen like all plateaus of their relationships, whether they think I have or not. I've seen pretty much all plateaus of the relationships, from like everything being good for an extended period of time, everything being good for a short period of time, everything really just going to shit. Um, Not like where it drastically changed, our living, but it's just like, you know, I can tell when things are really not going the way my parents had planned at that particular time in our lives. So it's like seeing them make it through all the things that they have, and like still be on in a positive, what's it called, like they're trending positive, I guess, in the relationship still after, I want to say 24 years. Shout out Kobe. After 24 years of being married, just like, okay, that's like the pinnacle. I can see like, okay, this is what's attainable. This is like, it's possible. Like, but like at the same time, I see like a majority of people falling by the wayside, and it's like, is there some kind of like, is there some kind of like underlying plague out there that is just like fucking people over, and like, and maybe it starts young, and like it's generational, so like maybe their only example of relationships just has been negative relationships, and then that just spirals and spirals and spirals. And I mean, is it so? I mean, that's just like a sad reality. It's like to know that people, generations of people, are just seeing their only scope of relationship is poor relationships. So, ergo, they just live that out. That's all they do, because that's their only, like, their scope is only that wide, and that really sucks to think about sometimes. So, like, that makes me not think so critically of everything I've seen, in a way, because it starts to make me feel like blessed. It's like, okay, I've seen a lot of different examples of what to do and what not to do. So it's like, I I would feel selfish to like just hoard that type of stuff. Like, because like at the end of the day, it's not just like female male relationships. It's like friend. It's like, or just whatever relationships. It's like friendships. Like those are relationships. I mean, just like coworkers. Those type of relationships. Like, to be honest, like I understand relationships in a lot of different aspects, but my execution is trash. And some of that is by choice. Some of that is like through through like life experience and maturing, I've understood that it has been a lack of knowledge in some cases. But then in other cases, I choose to be selfish, and I'm like, but I don't want to oblige you, or, but I could care less if this will make you feel better. I'm not feeling good, so I'm gonna keep sitting. And the deeper I like try to dive into myself and work on myself, I realize that at any point in time when I have those like super toxic thoughts and like negative thoughts, like you can't compartmentalize toxic thoughts. I've realized that. Like if I'm at work, say for example, I don't like people at my job, I can't just only not like people at my job. Eventually, that's going to start affecting how I interact with my family, how I even interact with some of my friends. Eventually, at some point in time, that negativity is just going to start chipping away at all aspects of your life. So, once I like started realizing that shit, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not in a place where I can just be positive all the time. So, the next best step is what my granny said. If you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. So I just stopped talking because it's like, I don't want to be rude. And even if my intentions are not to be rude, I can perceive how this may come off rude. So what I'm going to do is not say anything at all. But then feeding into that energy can be detrimental. And it has been detrimental because it's like, it stops you from doing a lot of things. Like, prime example, over the last like 2 years, over the last like year, I've been more intentional with how I don't want to word this. Over the last year, I have been more intentional with how I have sought after my wife. Yeah, I'll say it like that. I've been more intentional with how I've sought after my wife. Meaning, doing more work on my end. And, like, okay, let me explain. So, I over the last 5 to 10 years, I have my parents have always, they've helped me to understand that if you want something, you can simply just ask for it. You can pray for it. It's just that simple. And so I've adopted that belief with everything I do in my life. It's just that simple. It may not, from the outside looking in, it may not look like that, but there's not one thing I don't do without praying about it. It's just that simple. So, once I kind of adopted that thinking, I was like, bet I can pray for whatever wife I want, but that also forced me to have to do a lot more thinking, dang. Early on when I was younger, you're very immature, so all of your thoughts pertaining to female, no matter if you want to admit it or not, are extremely immature, and they're less driven. So it's it doesn't even really, you really can't even be able to understand how to pray for a wife until you just live life, honestly. So I got older and I was like, okay, I started seeing different attributes I started seeing the same attributes in different females at first. And so immediately I was like, don't want that. That's just very clear. There was just some things right off the bat. I was like, God, me and you are pretty much on the same page. You can read my heart. Not feeling that one. And other times it was I know that's wrong, but I kind of want that. So then it's like, how do you change, like, I guess, how do you change your core programming to be like, hey, bro, anytime you see that, it's a no-go. Because you have to change your mindset from like, oh, this is going to be my wife, to this is going to be my wife and the mother of my children, who, however we raise them, they're going to be a reflection of us. Which means, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't haphazardly go about selecting. And I know it sounds so barbaric to say selecting. I don't know any other terminology right now. I can't. Maybe like yeah, I don't know. I'll think of other terms, but I don't really want to sound so misogynistic and barbaric when I'm saying that. But like, I am in a sense choosing my wife, like who I'm choosing to spend the rest of my life with. One of the things I think about a lot is like, there are a lot of uncontrollable variables in life, but one thing I can choose to control no matter what is who I choose to spend the rest of my life with and devote my time to. So it's like, with that thinking, like, I can't afford to be too lenient with that, because it's, like I said, it's taking it from, oh, I'm dating this person, oh, we're gonna get married. No, like, this is my wife and also the mother of my children. So how do I appropriately approach that, going all the way back to the beginning, with all the different aspects of relationships that I've seen, but then also understanding that through everything that I've seen, examples and everything like that, media, personal, family, friends, whatever, those examples, I also have like a younger generation under me. Like, I can't be out here wilding. Like, that's like, aside from my kids, because my kids, they'll just be living what they see directly from us, but like, then like my kids' friends they'll be acting based off of not only what they see from my kids, but also from their parents. So it's like, there's a certain standard. At some point in time, you have to, within yourself, say, there is a certain standard that I have to adopt. And whether or not you even have an idea of how to start that process, if you're willing to start the process, all the better. That's all I'll say. I wanted to throw this quote in here earlier. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. All right. We have a quote from mentalhealthmatch.com. They have 101 inspiring mental health quotes. Go here pretty often to look up some stuff to get me going. This one is to give you strength. Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if only one remembers to turn on the light. And that was said by Albus Dumbledore from Harry Potter, Prisoner of Azkaban. Yeah. And I like that quote, because it's like, just like, not only recognizing, yes, I am in the dark, but then also having that understanding that, bro, I can just go flip the light switch right now. Like, it's not even like, being able to come to those type of realizations and like reassuring realizations is like, I'm actually straight. Like, I really don't know what I was tripping for, and that makes me like think about, me and my brother were having this conversation, and I was just mentioning a previous conversation I'd had with my best friend, and he was asking me, he was like, bro, back in high school, when you used to have your Bluetooth speaker, you just were playing music, you just weren't caring, like, what, like, why did you, like, why weren't you caring about how people were looking at you or the perceptions that they had while you're walking around campus with a speaker? And literally my answer was like, what perceptions? I don't know what you mean. Like, I'm confused. Like, I didn't know that there was a perception around me walking around with a speaker. I'm literally just listening to music, fam. Like, I, yeah, it was weird to me because it was like, to know it, well, not weird, it was more so sad to know that people think that deeply about how other people think about you. It's like, I'll be honest with you, it's hard for me to think about sometimes that, and it almost seems unfair because it's like, how do I have such a understanding of what I feel is a simple concept, but then to you I'm an asshole because I may point it out as a simple concept. So like, I don't know, it's a weird balance. It's a weird balance. Learning how to talk to people, like where they're at, understanding them where they're at, and not kind of like ridding yourself of preconceived notions before any conversation. Just literally having that energy no matter what. You know what? This is a preconceived notion I've had before, and I know I'm going to go in X environment, so I might as well just rid my mind of literally everything and just be open to whatever this conversation entails. Like, yeah. I feel like a lot of times people miss it. But also, I'm people, so I can't, bash on them too hard. Like, I'm people as well. Like, as much as I want to say, oh, I have improved. Nope, I'm trash. Super duper trash. Like, and day by day, I am learning to maneuver. Guess that's the best way to say it. I'm learning to maneuver. Not sure what's going on with this here. Forgive me, plus. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Yes. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Appreciato. What else has been rattling on? Rattling in? Yeah, rattling in the old brain. It's interesting because I don't know how to word this so that I don't offend a lot of people, but also I don't necessarily care. It's really hard to manage your faith walk with not only just temptations, but so many negative perceptions. But my only problem with the negative perceptions is that if you want me to be accepting and respectful of your life, just return the favor and leave me alone. Because I'm not a person who's like, oh, do this, you have to be this. But like, if I ever mention that I'm Christian, like, a lot of people, one, they look at me crazy, like, but you are da-da-da-da. I'm like, yep, and me and the big man upstairs have an understanding. And also, I also get, like, negative looks like, why do you support such and such? Oh, so you must look down on us. Like, no, I simply believe what I believe, and I simply choose to classify that as Christian. Not, I wouldn't say that everything, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff that's just like, let me preface everything I'm about to say. I take the word of God to be true and to be, it needs no revision, no reproof, none of that. No, it's set, it's perfect. But there's just some stuff I'll read, and I'll just, within my own carnal mind, I'll just be like, that is a non-open-minded point of view. I won't disagree or agree with it. I'll just simply be neutral and say that is a very close-minded way to look at something that potentially is an open-ended topic. So it's like, one thing for years that I have struggled with to understand is just the concept of come as you are, but then people being so critical of of someone who may appear to be opposing to whatever Christianity is. So it's for me, I have a tough time openly separating myself sometimes from some of the things that even my parents say, because, like, I'll just be, no, my parents, it's not to say, like, they bash anybody or they're, openly negative in any context towards anything, really. It's just they're more so set in their ways, and it just may be whatever they say, it may make me feel a certain way where I'm like, I may not say anything on it, but like internally I'm just like, I can't relate. And so having multiple cases like that, it makes it hard to want to openly communicate sometimes, because if I'm just gonna get constant backlash, or if I'm gonna get constant I don't mind opposition, but respectful opposition does exist. That's a thing. So it's just worded differently. We can agree to disagree. It's respectful opposition. That's really all it is. I see where you're coming from. I respect it, but we're just not going to agree on this particular topic. And if you find yourself more often than not on the other side of it, where you just want to argue and you just want to be opposing and you have to win or you have to get the last word in, well, we're not going to conversate. And at this point in my life, I'm sure my parents have felt examples of that. I've done that with literally everyone. I don't argue, bro. Like, that is such a waste of my time. Because no matter what, it doesn't matter what you're arguing about. It doesn't matter the intent of the argument on either side. Arguing is pointless, because it's just you yelling and me yelling. And then we're going to get even more angry and then say some irrational stuff, excuse me, and then we're going to be in a much worse place than if we just would have either just went completely, because I'm a big proponent of this, and I've been listening to another podcast, Love Hour, yeah, it's my favorite. It's my favorite because it's like they hit so many different points, not only just for relationships, but just life in general, and just understanding that, one, you're not alone, but then also two, that what you go through on a daily basis, no matter what level it is, you're normal. So Yeah, they hit so many points. It's crazy. I was just listening to one episode. It's their most recent, latest, whatever. Self sabotage, and it was like I wanted to like. It was like that in my head. It was like that scene in Boys in the Hood when Cuba Gooding Jr.'s in the living room and he's just socking, he's going crazy, and I'm like, get out of my business. Mind your business, Melissa and Kevin, and get out of mine. Cause I'm like, 100%. Like, Melissa, she was talking about her version of sabotage is fear of her own success, and basically she's comfortable with where she's at. She's comfortable with the 9 to 5 if she had to go back. She's comfortable with those things because those aren't such a high degree of success that she won't feel that pressure, if that makes sense. I don't know if I worded that right. But like I've definitely felt that before. Like yeah, and just like my homeboy, he pointed something out. He was like, "Bro, like, just like 6 to 9 months ago, we were just talking about X, Y, and Z. You were saying you were gonna do X, Y, and Z, and look at you, bro. You did it." Like, and it wasn't really until he had brought it up that I was able to like genuinely like, you're right, bro. And I'm not saying that to be like cocky or not. I swear I'm not doing that. I'm just like, that's an example of like, it wasn't until 5 months after, I had acquired that little bit of success that I had taken the time to acknowledge it and fully like appreciate the work that I had put in to achieve that success. So like, that really hit home when she was talking about that, because I was like, man, I really wonder how many people on a daily basis just, yeah. She brought up the story of Peter when he got out the boat, and he was like, at first he was like saying, Jesus, I want to walk on the water, I want to come to you, bid me to come to you, you know what I'm saying? And then he took the first few steps, and she pointed out the fact that so many times we worry about when we sank, but we don't even like consider the 2 or 3 steps that we took. And I was like, dang, that is like a whole full course meal with dessert, preferably peach cobbler. But like, that really hit, because I was like, man, so many times I definitely have like zoomed right on past the little bit of success that I have hit, the little milestone that I planned and I've hit, fly right past it. Excuse me. And then I'll start focusing on like small negative stuff like around me, and then I'll just like turn up the fire and make it seem as though those small things are huge, and they never are. And man, yeah, I'm just glad I'm finally attempting to make, because that's the difference between a lot of people, is if you're willing to if you're willing to make the attempts and make the efforts and put in the work, if you are showing that you just have it within you, like, okay, I'm trying to get better, like I need to get better, having the understanding that where you're at right now is not good enough, no matter how you convince yourself, it's just not gonna be, it's not, because yeah, I mean, for me, it was like, I just have to make it up in my mind, it's not good enough. You got to do better. Like, and having those realizations has been very reassuring, just satisfying, like very fulfilling. I don't have all the answers yet. I'm definitely hyped, because it's like, bruh, on the way, but it's like at the same time, baby steps. Don't get ahead of yourself. Understand that one, you're not gonna be able to do it alone. So like, look for tools. Look for, man, bro. I didn't want to get too deep into it. This episode, we'll talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. Did you hear me? We're gonna talk about it, bro. Because okay. Do you know? And I want to word this without sounding like a complete psychopath, but I don't think there is a way to word it without sounding like a complete insane person. But I'm gonna attempt. Here we go. So have you ever like been praying or hoping for something and then you get that exact thing and more? I was amazed at and am amazed at the work that I would like to accredit to Sweet Lord Baby Jesus up there. He's throwing up the CP3 lobs in a crucial fashion. And if I could, I kind of want to talk around it because I don't want to jinx anything, but it's just like, you pray for something, and imagine you go to a restaurant. And you're like, can I get, I just want the shrimp fettuccine. That's really all. Maybe a little Parmesan on top, but that's it. I just have enough for the shrimp fettuccine. Or the shrimp fettuccine. That's it. Just, if you have fettuccine, I'll take penne if you don't have. But fettuccine preferably. That's all I can really do. Just the shrimp though, one meat. And then you come out and they gave you shrimp, chicken, and sausage? Fam, I'm not mad, but I'm kind of confused. Like, I didn't ask for this, but I mean, in a way, okay. Imagine God read your mind, even though you didn't ask him to. But he already does it, so he was gonna do it anyway, but you didn't ask him to do it, but you're glad he did it. But like, the fact that he did it, you're like, fam, thank you, but for me, just all this, I get this whole entire, just all of this, like, I don't gotta share with nobody, like, oh, and by the, bro, and it's like, yeah, man, it's crazy, because it's like, there's no way. Sometimes I'll really just be like, you're clutch. But then also I'll be like, why? Melissa was saying in another episode, she'll like be sitting there and thinking like, but why me though? Like, I understand why, but like, for my own sake, I'm asking you, why? Like, I don't understand sometimes, bro. Like, it's like, you don't have to throw me a lob that crucial. But at the same time, keep them coming. Like, I'm grateful. And so, like, at this point, I'm at a place where I'm just like, okay, I gotta do everything within my power to, first of all, read the lob. So not only do you don't just see the lob, go up and get it, okay? You gotta read that puppy, okay? So you see the lob? Bet. I see what angle I gotta go at. I know immediately what leg I gotta lift off of, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Okay, more context, because I feel like I really do hate talking around things. I really, really do. But I genuinely don't want to jinx this. But imagine reciprocal energy. It seems as though it's not fair, because it's like, but it almost seems unfair in the sense of like, this is unreal because I've been begging for this, and God's timing, really? And here's like, okay, like, how dare you? I didn't ask for it, but who authorized you to bring this energy, even though it's exactly what I've been requesting? Like, our first conversation was about rental properties. Are you kidding me? You better watch your mouth. Watch your mouth, okay? Okay? But also keep talking, because it sounds amazing. So, and then in the back of my head, it's like, how do you appropriately handle this without, because you can have a sense of being skeptical. And when you're skeptical, you stop using logic when you're skeptical. Let me just say that. So when you become skeptical, and then you stop using logic, and then you stop using logic more and more, and then you start to self-sabotage, ergo, how you ruin most things in your life. And so for me, it's like, bro, just chill out. Just chill out. Okay? I am a Naruto fan. But I am not a fan of Naruto the man himself. I'm actually a fan of... Well, okay, hold on. My favorite character... Okay. Let me word this properly. My favorite character in the entire show, who I believe touched my heart the deepest, Sir Rock Lee, the coldest man with the... he's the coldest. But if we're talking about the coldest with the hand and it's Gaara. It's Gaara. So now that we're past that, I'm sorry, when I start talking about anime, I get lost, because now I gotta bring up the greatest anime. You see the poster right there. Who is that? That's Luffy, yeah. Anyway, don't even get me started on anime, because anime goes hard. That's what I was saying. Just finding a balance and kind of not rushing things. And one thing that they brought up on the Love Hour, and they talk about as a universal topic, is kind of just being present and living in that space that you're in right now, and understanding that there is a time and a place for planning for the future, but not always revolving your time around, oh, I have to hurry up and plan for the future. Not so. I have fallen victim to this. I still do. Don't judge me. I'm working through it. But it's hard because you see everything going on around you, and it's like, I have no choice but to like plan for the future. And it creates a toxic mindset where you feel unworthy to live in the moment, because you feel like you always have to devote your time to the future. And it is a rough go of it. I will say that it is a rough go of it, because balance is a rough go of it, because we are taught to believe that balance is a concept in which we as humans can achieve, and we can't. Because I don't care what you say, all of my knowledge as far as this stuff and everything that's helped me progress has come from the Love Hour. So that's what I'm just gonna share on and expound upon. Kev said, what did he say? Hold on, I lost his train of thought. Hold on, let me use my lasso to get it back. don't know. We'll move past it. We'll go back to self-sabotage. I'm sure it'll come back. He'll drop it back in there when I need it. Back to self-sabotage. If you have any tips out there, what are some ways that either you have been self-sabotaging, and we can lay them all out here and maybe make a little list or something like that and say, hey, we're all self-sabotaging. These are the communal ways of self-sabotage, and then maybe we can make a little opposite list, okay, if this is how we're self-sabotaging, what's the opposite? So if I'm procrastinating, okay, well, it's gonna be hard I'm no longer a procrastinator, so you need to start redirecting that time to other people who are productive. What do I mean? Because what do I mean? Like, if I say I want to stop being a procrastinator, I need to find a way to make my time work for me and be more productive. That means I need to start putting myself in better environments. That means I need to, unfortunately, sever ties with people who are not contributing productive time to my life. And it doesn't mean like those relationships are dead forever, but it does mean we are not good for each other at the moment, and we are not progressing at the rate we should be collectively. But at the end of the day, it's about self-growth. Like, that's what a lot of people miss, because even myself, for a long time, I was caught up with always making people happy and trying to satisfy literally everybody in the picture, but not realizing no matter what I do, no matter how hard I try, somebody's gonna complain for some reason. I can't care about that reason. All I can do is move past that reason and hope for the best. Yeah. It's hard though, because there are a lot of people in the world who can fall victim to being over empathetic. Myself. Yeah. So it's like, if you're one of those people who's just like overly empathetic all the time, you tend to overindulge in people, or you oversaturate the like, there is a percentage of information that comes into our life that is ours, that is our personal information that we're dealing with on a daily basis. There's media, there's our friends and family, and then there's just pretty much like everybody else, like the world, like just perception. And unfortunately, those who are overly empathetic turn down the percentage of how much they pay attention to their own stuff, and they just oversaturate their life with everybody else's stuff. And it's like, you haven't even taken the time to really just sit back and like be in your own stuff. Like, honestly, I think the worst time for this was like my freshman year in college. It was like, I was so busy trying to DD for everybody. I was getting paid for it, but I was so busy trying to DD, so busy trying to kick it with the homies, so busy trying to make sure when I'm kicking it with the homies, if I'm eating, then that means I gotta cook, so then I'm cooking for all the homies. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like, not realizing I'm not even paying attention to my schoolwork. I'm not paying attention to other people trying to build relationships with me, because I'm choosing to pay attention to everybody else and everything else going on around me. It causes me to just self-implode, and then pretty much chaos ensues. So it's like finding a space or a time to just sit back, be in your own shit, and not like not harp on it, because that doesn't do anything, but I mean, it just amplifies all the emotions, and acting on your emotions and all that shit is not gonna do anything but make it worse. So it's like, just okay, I understand. That's what happened. That was the situation. Past it. So, hmm, yeah, I think that's a good place to end it right there. To be honest with you, maybe we'll do a little outro quote for your mental health. Ooh, yeah. Let's do this one. Okay. I would say what others have said. It gets better. One day you'll find your tribe. You just have to trust that people are out there waiting to love you and celebrate you for who you are. In the meantime, the reality is you might have to be your own tribe. You might have to be your own best friend. That's not something they're going to teach you in school. So start the work of loving yourself. Wentworth Miller. I like that one. Yeah, I like that one. Because, yeah. Actually, we'll end with this, because this really is what's been fueling me the last couple weeks. There was this interview with Jay. I forget who the lady was. Yeah, I don't even remember her name. I couldn't even guess. But he was interviewing with this lady, and he was saying, I have fans who listen to my music, and I'll hear them, and the way they talk about me, it's almost sad, because I can tell that they're using me to like fill the voids and fill those holes in their life, and that should never ever be the case. He was saying, uh, he said, me as an artist, I obviously would be lying if I said I didn't want you to listen to my music, but I don't want you to use me as a way to build yourself up, or to fill yourself with some emptiness you feel you have. So if you feel like you have an emptiness or a void, then that's up to you to fill it up with that self-love, that self-awareness, that self-appreciation, that type of stuff, and then using, you know what I'm saying, the music, the art, those different expressive things to reinforce what you already built up. And I thought that was dope as hell, because like, a lot of artists are not going to have and give you that truth. They're not going to talk to you like that, because he was even saying himself, he's a broken man. He said, 3 years ago, he's not where he was 3 years ago, but he's for sure not where he wants to be. So it's like, for him to, operate in that truth and like be so blatant and honest with people, it's like, bro, you need to understand that I'm just art. Like, I'm just that. I'm just art. Like, I don't want you using me to make yourself feel like I don't. You shouldn't learn to love people through J. Cole's music. You shouldn't learn to respect black women through J. Cole's music. That's pretty much what I got from that. You should learn how to respect black women from how you're living your daily life, like how you move, period. Like, and that also does feed into the conversation of, upbringing and environment and example, your scope and what you've been able to see. But still, at some point in time, I had this conversation with another person. I was like, bruh, at some point in time, we do get grown enough to know right from wrong. It's just that simple. So at some point in time, you're just choosing to be comfortable in that wrong. And that's your choice. I can't force you out of that. Nobody can. I don't even want to, bro, because that would take time away from me putting energy into my own life. So be comfortable in your wrong. I'm just gonna let you know that's wrong. Like, I'm not gonna. I would be in trouble. I would feel convicted if I saw you doing wrong, and I just didn't at least give you that piece of advice. Like, bro, that ain't it. Like, do what you want to do. I'm simply letting you know. Goodness. Excuse me. Simply letting you know that ain't it. So, I feel like we have covered quite a bit. we can end it here. Yeah, I truly hope that there was a nugget, something, little baby, anything you got, little sweetheart, whatever. Yeah. Remember the quote. Fill yourself up with the love and the void, and then go out and share that with somebody. The young lady I was talking to, she even said, she was like, I don't think people understand that you're supposed to be my helpmate, which means we're not supplementing or adding to, or no, we're not adding, we're not subtracting or supplementing. We're simply, what did she, hold on, no. Because it was too fire what she said, and I was like, you're right. Like, this is absolutely, like, okay. She said, oh goodness. Because it was like, it was a word from on high. I was like, oh. Okay. Hello. I mean, personally, just believe that your partner is supposed to add, not subtract or supplement. I don't think our generation grasps that. Unfortunately. Let me read that again. I personally just believe that your partner is supposed to add, not subtract or supplement. That part right there, I was like, again, watch your mouth. That's strike two. You're talking right. Like, bro, I was like, there's no way. Like, you are out here. And also, that's another, yeah, I'm not ending it. I thought I was going to end it, and I can't end it because, like, I have to worry and a dog about it. We have to talk about it. For me, I am by nature, I am a very confident person, and I'm just learning to accept that. But here's the thing, I'm just learning to openly accept it. Because if I openly accept it, then that's the only way I'll be able to tame it. Yeah. Oh, it's bad. It's so bad. I need to humble myself. It's horrid. Yeah. But it's like, how do you respectfully be forward with someone, bro? Because, like, here's my thing. I don't like, it's such a horrible mentality to do adopt because you need, like, like, your wife has to be your friend. So, like, it's a horrible mentality that I've adopted, but, like, I don't want female friends. It's so crazy. Like, I just don't. Like, that's a waste. I feel like it's such a waste of my time. I know that's stupid. I'm gonna have female associates that are gonna help me with animation and everything, bro. Like, it's crazy. So it's like, excuse me, saying that and having that logic is stupid as hell. But it's like, fam, like, when you exude energy on this level, when you come at me on this level, all I can, like, so many times I've really just wanted to text her, like, so did you want to link your name with my bank account now, or did you want me to, like, just bring my funds over to your, like, bro, like, it's, so it's like, how do you first of all not implode with, like, over, like, just joy and excitement, but also convey that energy in a healthy way. And it's like, you don't want to get disrespectful, but it's like, ma'am, what the hell is your ring size? Like, I don't really care about nothing else. We can get all that stuff later. What is your ring size right now? Here is the routing and account number. Like, man, it is. it's a doozy. It's a doozy, to say the least. It is a doozy. Because I'm gonna go back to what I was saying about being cocky. Here's the other side of that. So growing up overweight and then not feeling like, it's very tricky when you grow up overweight and you have the ability to make anyone laugh, yet that confidence doesn't translate to anywhere else but making people laugh. Not even in the sport. So it's not even in the sport. So like, forget females, like not even in the sports do you, like, you literally only have confidence when you're making people laugh. That is a scary place to be. And I know that I was not the only person living like that. And I know that there's plenty of them today. And there's going to continue to be plenty of them today because of the world and the way it's been. Like, it's sad. It's like, to grow up believing that you only have confidence within this finite space of, if you're not laughing, you don't think I'm interesting. Or you don't think I have anything worth listening to. Period. It doesn't matter, and that even spills into your family. So then you start to slowly separate. Slowly, like, just, Now, subconsciously, I know that's wrong. I know there are more than enough examples to dispute this thinking. But unfortunately, I chose to believe more of the negative than the positive, even though the positive clearly outweighed the negative. Like, bro, prime example. Growing up, bro, like, I was decent at baseball. Literally every person who watched me play baseball was like, oh, he's good at baseball, like, he's solid player, da-da-da-da. And I would always downplay it. I don't know why. It's just, stop, bro. Like, why? And as I've gotten older, I do understand this side of whenever I receive compliments. If you're my family or someone who knows me well, or is I don't even have friends, so if you're my family, this is good. Once again, I'm a psychopath. You have to understand that. If you're listening this far into the podcast, you're clearly crazy on some level as well. Let's be crazy together. The understanding is, if you're my family, your compliments, okay, because of my upbringing and because of the examples that have been set in front of me, support from your family and support from people who are closely tight-knit to you, that is expected. So therefore, it doesn't hold as much weight. In my own head, this is my own thinking. I'm not saying this is universal. This is how I process it. So, because you're my family, and because it's expected that my family supports me and shows me this certain level of love / support, it just doesn't really hit as hard as if someone outside of the family says something. So then, going back to growing up and thinking that you're only valued in that one space, which is just comedy, but like, that not being the case at all, what are you left to, like, and then seeing all of what you see around you, just of like negative things, not only about your skin color, about your culture, like it's just like, man, how do you manage? It's a good question that I don't have the answer to, unfortunately. And I don't think I will get that answer without some life experience, life lesson, and a whole lot of wisdoms from people who went before me. Because it's like, I'll go back to what I was saying about kind of being hesitant with trying to be respectfully forward with this female. It's like, bro, you don't also want to like make her feel as though there's like a lack of interest. Cause like I don't. That's always been the feeling that I've got. This like I'll talk to a female and we'll be talking and I will feel or I will get. I don't know. Yeah, I'll just get the idea that yeah she's not really feeling me right now, or like the energy is just off. The vibes are off, bro. Vibes are off, bro. And either I'm dead wrong or I'm dead right. And I'll be honest with you. I can't tell you which one feels worse because I've naturally conditioned myself to feel when I'm right, that one feels more normal. Like if I perceive that the vibes are off with a female and that she really wasn't feeling me after all, that's like a notch on my belt. Because it's fucking toxic, bro. Because it's like, oh well, this has happened in the past, so like this is a trend, so I was expecting that anyway, and that's part of self-sabotage. It's like not even putting up that level of hope to be like, maybe there is a genuine interest, maybe there is a genuine whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just like immediately going to, nah, I can't be, bro. Nah, that's not it. That's not for me. But yeah, no. Taking yourself away from that mindset is what's most important. Oh yeah, we rambled long enough tonight. Let us end it and reconvene next Sunday.